Hi, everybody. It's Treasure Goddess Christine, and I am here to say that we are starting a knit along, a fabulous Stefanie Japel featured knit along with Treasure Goddess yarn. We are going to be creating the Turtleneck Tube Vest, which I am wearing, and I'm showing one of the ways I love to style it is with a nice little leather jacket, and you can wear it with some flowy black slacks and be fancy, or with jeans. It's just a super flattering, fabulous, fun top that looks good on all body sizes and all kinds of people.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to introduce you for our next knit along, introducing Stefanie Japel. Woo! And Stefanie is our designer of the Turtleneck Tube Vest. And I'm going to let her kind of introduce herself and tell us how did you get started in knitting and then designing, and kind of give us your backstory.
Okay, sure. So I am one of those lifelong knitters, basically. I learned to knit when I was 8 years old. I was visiting my grandma, and I was a kid that always had very busy hands, she would say. And so she just started to put yarn. We started with the crochet hook and then gradually elevated up to knitting. So I learned first from my grandma. I got my first wool from her, my first yarn from her. And then I kind of put it away for a while. You did that kind of in elementary school here and there. And then I picked it up again later when I was in my early 20s. I was in a punk rock band called Period, all-girl punk rock
I
band.
love that. That is so cool.
And I was the drummer, and I really wanted to have like eye-catching things to wear while I was back there. So I would use I cut up garbage bags like before people were doing it, and sewed things on them and made these like little kind of like this, like little halter tops and stuff like that to wear behind these all other beautiful guitar playing girls.
That is amazing. Oh my God. So you were knitting things and creating things, even, or were those knitted, or were those just kind of like crazy creations?
Those were some were knitted. Yes, the cutting up the garbage bags was into strips, like, and then it suddenly became trendy like a few years ago, maybe decades now ago, but it was
Yeah.
very interesting. So I was like, oh, this looks familiar. I have experience with this.
That is so fun. And then for your career, you do science things in the
Yes,
world.
exactly. So I guess my stuff got really popular when I was in grad school. I had a blog called Glampire Knits,
Yep.
and I had a large following of other girls who were women who were in, I don't mean to roll my eyes, but other girls, other women,
Right, right, right.
ladies who were in graduate school, scientists, other young women in career fields out on our own and stuff. That was in the early 2000s, when I was living in Baltimore. And then when I moved to Europe, I went to work at the Max Planck Institute for Chemistry. And I had all these beautiful backgrounds, like Gothic churches, and we went to Venice and all different kinds of things. And so I think my blog became popular because of that kind of tourist like view
Mhm.
into everything. And my photographs, my husband at the time was an artist. And so, he was able to do really great photos for me at these stunning locations. So I think that contributed a lot to it as well. But my first break was in Knitty magazine. I did a pair of leg warmers in, I believe, 2003.
That was your first design that was published.
Yeah, my first published design. Yeah.
See, I think I found you. Was it the boob warmer? Is that what it was called? Or was it the something else warmer?
Yeah, that was the boob warmer was one of them because
I think that's where I found you originally.
that
That
is
and then
so
your blog.
funny that you remember that. Yes, it was like just this little shrug, but it came like right in front of the boobs. And that was because I was living in Germany, and
Awesome.
the word for bra there is literally breast holder, Brustholder. And so I was like, oh, I think I called it boob holder. It was the boob holder. Yeah.
That is amazing. So yeah, I found you back in the days of blogging and Knitty early.
Good.
Um,
And then
but
we met
that
in
is
the city, right? At
wild.
that a long, long time ago, I taught at the Knitting Guild in the Kansas
Right.
City, the
It
Sunflower
was
Knitting Guild.
Knitting in the Heartland from the Sunflower Knitting Guild. Yes. And you came and taught. And in fact, you had just published your first book because you're a high school teacher right now.
I am, yes. So I went all through college, postdoctoral fellowships and everything. And then yeah, I published my books in I think 2007, 2008. And then my older daughter, Maisie, who's here, you can kind of hear her rustling around. She was born in 2008 as well. And so
Okay.
I decided to leave hard science because I was working on a radioactive study and was like, I don't really want to be around that, going up and back and forth to Los
Wow.
Alamos National Lab from here in Las Cruces. And so I decided to go into knitting full time at that time. And then I got a job working at Craftsy. So I was the acquisitions editor for all the classes at Craftsy.
That's
So
right.
all your favorite knitting stars, I got to meet in
Yep.
person at that job, which is wonderful. Um, and then so I really got into like curriculum design, education, and now, yes, I'm back in Las Cruces, New Mexico, teaching high school physics.
That is such a wild full circle story. I love that.
It
And living
is.
all over the world and
I
then back.
never would have thought I'd be a high school teacher, but now that I found it, I love it so much. Maybe I'm on the same like level as the kids or something.
Well, let's talk about what about this actual top. Like, do you have recommendations for people on fit or for style, or where would you like to go on this? Like for
Okay,
people to how to pick their size, what would you suggest for people? Like, is it like I love the tighter fit on most of mine? Some
yes.
people like the more looser, drapier. What would you recommend on picking your
That's
size?
interesting. I feel like because, okay, you guys, so check it out. It has like laying flat. It has like maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 maybe inches of ribbing, but you can stretch it out so far. So there's a lot of give here. And so even if you knit it and laying flat, it's one size, you can add a little steam to that ribbing part and it will, just block itself out into a bigger one. So it is so forgiving on size. The way
Right.
that I did the sizing, the smaller sizes all have approximately the same like
Up
basically
here. Yep.
just here you end up with 45 stitches at the bottom of this triangle pretty much, and then you cast on a few extra here for a little shaping, and then you come to this. So those first few sizes are not going to be that different except for this panel. And you can see even here, like if I was wearing like
Yeah.
a blousier top, it still
Mhm.
has a lot of coverage in front. So you're not
Right.
gonna make it and end up with something like
Yes.
this. It's like
Which is a
regardless,
concern. Right.
it's
Right.
just one of those things I know, and people, I can remember back in the day, someone kind of getting in trouble on the forums for saying like, oh, just block it to a different size. It's okay, whatever. And we don't do that anymore. But this one, it has so much ribbing and elastic. So it kind of just depends. I would honestly go for knit the bust size that you are.
Okay.
Just choose that one, and then whether it needs to come up or down. The way that it's made too, you can try it on at
Which I
halfway through
love. Yeah.
back. Mm-hmm.
So it is a top down. Is just you starting up
Yes,
here. You start at the top. And I love that you don't start with a neckline and then have to turn around and pick up stitches and do the ribbing the other way. It is from the top to the bottom. And I mean,
yes,
I make these things. I love it. So you're starting up here, heading on down, and
mm,
then joining in the round. And there's no sleeve. So I love no sleeve
yeah,
island. But she isn't kidding. That ribbing really does. It stretches, but it's not super tight. Like it doesn't super. And also, this yarn, there's a lot of silk in it. And the yak is very similar to a cashmere fiber. So
it's
it's got
so
a little bounce back, but not much. And that silk just really helps it be drapey. So I do love that there's a lot of give, and pretty much however you want to wear it is how it turns out. So,
yes.
so pick your
And
bust size to start.
exactly. Pick your bust size, and then you can, as you're going, just, you can, once you have, because you'll reach a point where we start here. And so you're knitting essentially a little rib tube. It's a 3x3 ribbing. One tip is it's purl 3, knit 3 ribbing. So when you get to this part, remember
Yes. I
that,
messed that one up before, and it's like,
yeah, yeah. So when we have to come down and cast bind off, remember to start your bind off at the purl 3. But
yeah,
anyway, we'll get there. We'll get to that point. So it has these 3
right.
sections, the ribbing, the neckline. And again, you can see that there's a lot of give here too. Like if you're not into it being super like huggy on your
Super
neck, don't
tight against you.
on it. Yeah, like I did the 3x3 ribbing so that it's not stiff either, so that it gives you a little bit more of like even the ribbing is a little drapey.
Agreed. And I actually used not the tiny little 16-inch needle. I think I used like maybe an 18 or 24-inch on it. And there was still plenty of room. And yet it still bounces back because I really don't enjoy working with the small double, the small circulars. And it was no big deal. So I love that also. So there
So
really
we
is a
have
lot of room
this
on
part.
that.
We knit the
Mhm.
two for the neckline, and then you knit a front and put that on a holder, and then you knit the back. And so once you have these two little triangle parts done, that's when you can like pull it over your head and just like double check. And then you're like, oh, nope, I need to do a couple more increase rows.
Perfect.
And then we'll join back together and knit this section, which is just the stockinette with the ribbing at the sides. And this becomes all in the round again. And then one place that I want to show you, you might want to consider customizing it, is the length of this stockinette section. So like that
Right.
will determine if it's more cropped on you, if it comes down to your natural waist, if it comes down a little lower, depending on how you like your stuff to fit. This one is a little bit more cropped, not by much, by like an inch or so, but it does, it
Right.
makes a difference in the way it sits on your body. So that's one place you might want to, that's another customization point, let's say.
I really like that. And I'm going to jump in here. So my
Yeah.
original ones, I've actually got it's really hard to see on here. I've got a much longer ribbing on my original ones because I wanted the ribbing to start, I don't know if you can see in this part here. So in this part, like how Stephanie's is, and this one also is going down to like just a little above my waist is where I started the purple. But on my original ones, I've actually got that ribbing started maybe an inch or two below my bust and goes the longer waist. So this version fits much tighter. It's much more, not tighter, I guess isn't the word. It's more form fitting as opposed to the more, that's amazing how much that stockinette versus the full ribbing around makes it more drapey or a little bit more snug fit. So
yes, that's a beautiful way to really accent like an hourglass figure. If you are super proud of your waistline, like Christine, I recommend that too.
yeah.
It really does like accentuate, the bust line, everything. That's a really nice way to do it. And again, using that 3x3 ribbing, it's not going to be like a sausage casing either. It's trim fitting without like feeling constricting. Cool. So this is my little stack. I changed my
Excellent.
to the beautiful, this is our favorite, the orange color.
Love it. Lusty
And
wench.
Lusty Winch, perfect name for it. And this is the one, you guys, that I'm wearing. Well, my 14-year-old daughter is wearing in the pattern picture. So you can see again that like it still fits me, and it's not even narrow like across the bust. Like there's plenty of coverage, everything. So
Amazing.
yeah, and we
Oh,
were saying,
cool.
you guys, it's such a funny shape when you look at it from above. And you wouldn't think that that would fit the body so nicely. It looks so weird. But once
It
you
looks awkward, but it really is magical how it does that. And I'm excited. So my next one, I am going to try a little less the turtleneck, the mock neck part, and then have a little bit larger size so that I can, and also definitely push my stockinette a little lower. Excellent.
So the hardest part of our knit along is what color to make. So the one that I will be knitting along with all of you is my Yak Silk DK Treasures in Ghost Ship. It's a gorgeous, almost you can absolutely see this as a ghost ship sailing on the ocean in the middle of the night and the sun is going down. Another option, I am wearing Amethyst in the Abyss, which is a gorgeous heathery purple, gorgeous, gorgeous color. My favorite of all time is Lusty Wench. Woo! Sorry, we got the lights going. Lusty Wench is an amazing orange with real depth. This is Treasure of the Emerald Isle. So anybody that loves the green, this is an amazing. And it's kind of funny, and we talked about earlier what a strange shape this is, but it still turns out so flattering. Isn't that wild? Stephanie's a genius. And this one is a little blood rubies.
Yes,
But
I just have another one on the needles, my fourth one in the beautiful This is another one of your beautiful yarns.
Gorgeous. I think that's the Far Horizon, the dark blue.
Yes, it is. Yep, Far Horizon.
Excellent. And a little bit of yarn goes a really long way with this, but it is really like potato chips. Once you start, you guys, you're going to have a whole closet full, which is not a bad thing at all. And I really like the idea of trying a cotton version. I think, or even a cotton linen blend would be really fun.
Yeah,
to do.
for sure. If you guys have any questions too, I would love to hear questions, and we can come back on and do another video answering questions. I think that would be really fun.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to be updating in the Facebook group. All links are going to be in the description down below. Where to find the fabulous pattern, where to find the fabulous yummy yarn. Whatever questions you have, leave in the comments down below, and Stephanie and I will get on and she will answer them for us. So come along, have some fun with your yarn and your knitting, and let's knit some fabulous turtleneck tube vests together.